The silent treatment is the deliberate refusal to communicate with your spouse, maybe as a result of expressing your anger, or you want to control them, or you want to avoid conflict. Let me take it again. Silent treatment is when you deliberately refuse to communicate with your spouse, or your spouse refuses to communicate with you as a way of expressing their anger, or trying to control you, or avoiding conflict in the family. The silent treatment is one of the most common and yet destructive patterns in many marriages today. It is not merely the absence of words. Silent treatment is not merely the absence of words, it is the withdrawal of emotional connection. It is very important for us to experience emotional connection in our family. That is one of the things that makes for healthy home and healthy families. And there are so many families where husband and wife can stay under the same roof for months, for years, but they are not connected emotionally. This thing we call divorce or breakup in the home, it happens in so many families before it happens visibly for everybody to see it. Because divorce does not happen the day the husband and wife are going apart. No. Before physical divorce will take place, it must have started little by little by emotional divorce, emotional disconnection. What is emotional divorce? It is two people staying under the same roof as husband and wife, but they are not communicating. There is emotional distance between the two of them. They are not relating. They are no longer loving. The presence of your spouse gives you anger. It arouses anger inside of you. When you see them, you are not happy. When they are away, you are happy. But the moment they arrive, you are not happy. When that happens, we call it emotional disconnection. And that does not help any family. So when a husband or a wife decides to maintain silence in the family for maybe 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 days, as a way of expressing their anger, or wanting to control their spouse, or as a way of avoiding conflict, and the two of them are not talking to each other, we call it silent treatment. Silent treatment. In many homes, couples do not shout, they just stop talking, in the family. In many families, couples, they don't just shout at each other, but there is what is worse than shouting that is happening. That is what I call silent treatment, because silence can wound deeper than words or harsh words can do. Silence can wound deeper than harsh words. So sometimes people are under the same roof. You are not hearing them, arguing. You are not hearing them fighting. But what is going on is more than shouting, because sometimes silence can be golden. Silence can be very healthy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Silence can be very healthy sometimes, because when it is golden, then it is positive. It is not negative. It is not used to control your spouse. Maybe you are silent for a positive reason. That one is healthy. But when silence becomes a tool to want to control your partner, or you are using it to express your anger, and for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 month, you are not talking to each other, we say it wounds. That silence, that kind of silence wounds, more than harsh words can do. So similar words that we use for a silent treatment could be stonewalling. Stonewalling. That is, you are under the same roof as husband and wife. Although there are no walls in your house, but emotionally and psychologically, you have already built walls. You can no longer connect. You can no longer talk to each other. The only thing you can do is to talk at each other. You can't talk to each other, but you are talking at each other. So the two of you are under the same roof, but psychologically and emotionally, you are 1,000 kilometers apart. Such people, I normally call them that they are intimate enemies. Intimate enemies. Although they are staying together, but they are not together. Stonewalling. He talks to you, you just, yes, I've heard you. Good morning. You don't want to talk to each other. This is a problem that is common in so many homes. As a marriage coach, I will tell you, I've intervened in so many families. It is happening. It's a reality in so many homes today. People, husband and wife, staying under the same roof but not talking to each other. So we can also call it ghosting. You can ghost your spouse. You are not talking to them. You are not interested in talking to them. We call it ghosting also. So, and there was a man by the name of Vicente Blasco Ibanez. He wrote a book titled 4 Men of Apocalypse. 4 Men of Apocalypse. And that book, addresses the 4 habits that lead to breakup and divorce in so many families. And the man addresses these 4 issues, these 4 unhealthy habits that break homes and that lead to divorce in so many homes. The first among them is criticism. When you criticize your spouse, not for the sake of criticism, but you want to criticize them in order to prove that you are right always and your spouse is always wrong. You criticize them not in a healthy manner, not in a suggestive way, not in a way that is positive. You are just unduly critical. If when they do the right thing in the family, you don't see anything good in what your wife is doing. If they cook your food, you don't see anything good. Or maybe as a wife also, your husband comes back from work, he buys a gift for you, you don't appreciate, and you become like enemies in the family because you are always criticizing, you are finding fault. You call it fault finding. You're always finding fault with each other. So the man said that the first unhealthy habit that we have to take care of is criticism. Number 2 is contempt. When you treat your spouse with disrespect, as if they are less than human, as if they are less important than you, we call it contempt. I tell couples, every spouse has the need to be honored and to be respected. I may be a husband, you may be a wife. I am not better than you, you are not better than me. God has created us to be equal human beings. He created both of us in His own image. So when disrespect is the order of the day in a family, what happens? That family can never be healthy. So contempt is one of the unhealthy habits that leads to breakup in families. You see some spouses, and when they are talking to their wife, they talk at them. When they are outside, they don't respect their wives. They talk anyhow to them. They just say anything to them. They call them foolish, and they say a lot of things. They abuse them publicly in the church or outside there. They abuse them. And when a spouse feels disrespected, it causes a lot of emotional trauma for them. You may not know what they are going through. So every spouse has the need to be respected. So we need not to treat our spouses with contempt, regardless of who they are. They are still human beings. They are still created in the image of God. They deserve to be honored. They deserve to be valued. So the first one is criticism. The second bad habit that leads to breakup in homes is contempt. Number 3 is defensiveness. Defensiveness. When anything happens in the family, I always like to defend myself. My spouse will always like to defend herself. We become defensive. Even things we should have owned up about and just tender apology. You want to argue, to defend yourself in every situation. It leads to breakup in families. Had Abraham owned up when God asked him, Abraham, have you eaten of the food I've told you not to eat? The story would have been different today, but he never owned up. He was blaming his wife. He was pointing finger. He was defensive. That was one of the major problems that happened in their family. When God asked the wife also Eve, she became very, very defensive. What happened? God placed a curse upon the two of them. Why? Because they didn't open up. They didn't take responsibility for the sin they had committed, for their sin of disobedience. So the fourth one is stonewalling. So there are 4 I've mentioned. According to Vicente, he said there are 4 unhealthy habits that lead to breakup in family: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Stonewalling has to do with what we are talking about today. In fact, I call stonewalling the senior brother of silent treatment in the family.